Happening today, President Donald Trump's nominee for Drug Czar is heading to New Haven. This comes just days after the overdose crisis that left nearly 100 people in the hospital. We have News 8's Kent Pierce live for us this morning with more on this. Good morning, Kent.
Good morning, Lauren. If you remember last week, a lot of Connecticut politicians were saying this is what should happen, that President Trump should send his nominee to be Drug Czar here to New Haven after what happened last week. The question for today is how contentious is this going to be, because a lot of those same politicians were saying the federal government is not doing enough and spending enough on the drug crisis, and that's part of what would happen here. Everyone agrees something has to be done in the wake of last week. Around 100 people overdosed on and around the New Haven Green after taking a synthetic form of marijuana that's called K2. On Wednesday, I tell you, it was something like out of a horror movie out here. Person after person dropping to the ground. New Haven first responders did their absolute best to try to keep up, and afterwards the politicians tried to figure out what to do next to keep this from happening again. U.S. Senators Blumenthal and Murphy both said the answer is more funding from the federal government because the president and Republicans in Congress have cut that funding.
Well, I mean, all President Trump has done is attempt to gut services for people with addiction. I'm glad that the president's sending somebody here. We will do our best to try to use him as a vehicle to change the president's mind.
Now, the him in question there is Jim Carroll. He is currently the Deputy Director of the White House Office of National Drug Control Policy, and President Trump has nominated him to be the next so-called Drug Czar, the head of the National Drug Policy. He's going to be at the Connecticut Mental Health Center, which is over next to Yale New Haven Hospital. The governor, Senator Blumenthal, Mayor Harp, they're all going to be there, as will law enforcement officials. The press release says they're going to be discussing specific ways the government can help stop something like this from happening again in the future, and all that is set to kick off at 1:30 this afternoon. Live on the New Haven Green, I'm Kent Pierce. Back to you.